Hey everybody, Psychosaurus is here and welcome back to Age of Empires Online. And today we got some big update, and it's pretty big, but there was some number of smaller updates before, and there's been quite a few, and I did not react to them. But anyway, how are you guys? Hope you're doing fine. Man, I feel like I want to try some new content, and it won't be around Age of Empires Online, so maybe you'll see something new, something different in near future. Who knows, maybe if I get to it. A little bit busy, but oh well, hopefully I'll try something. I need to finish the Momodora game, god damn it, I need to get back to that. But anyway, back to the changes, and there was quite a number of those. As you can see, I have like 5 tabs open right now, and yeah, it's pretty big, the last one. But yeah, let's get to this one. So this one is from February 25th. If we get to it. So that was when the Conquest of Britannia was released. I don't remember if I was going through this, so I'll just go through this fast. It was just some quest updates over here. The champion mode quest. Don't let me down. Timer increased. Repeatable elite champion versions. Okay, yeah, I was talking about this most likely. Therefore, taxes, increase the last tribute. Didn't do that quest yet. We need to get to that. Fabi, remove the guarding ships. I think I was talking about these mainly. I think I did. You know what? I'm gonna skip this one, because I really don't remember this. I think I mostly spoke about them. So let's skip that one and let's just get to this. Okay, so this one is March the 3rd. Quest updates. Invasion of Mona adjusted the location of the enemy's sacred groves. This one I already did. The main thing was that some of the sacred groves were supposed to be out of range. So even, you know, I did the minimum range, maximum damage on my swan ships in the Invasion of Mona video. And so I could actually reach it, and I was like, can I actually reach them with just no range on my ships? Because if you could not, well, that would mean you need to do some drops and yeah, do stuff there. And since you were able only to train priests and villagers, either you go druids or just villagers. Yeah, I mean, for Chaos it would be fine, but for the other ships it would depend. Moving on. Invasion of Rome. Made adjustments to certain enemy spawn mechanics. I don't know. It does not say if this is like, I guess it means in general, like all the versions, since it's not really mentioned here, but made adjustments to certain enemy spawn mechanics. I wonder what, actually, because Invasion of Rome, I seriously hate how sometimes the units just spawn. I feel like sometimes there's like too many units, and sometimes I feel like at some point the spawn should stop, and I feel like it's too late in the quest before it stops. That's what I feel like. Tower over the Celts. Starting resources increased to 400, 800, 400, 1000 from 400, 400, 400, 400. Increase the difficulty rating of the elite variant of the quest to 3-star from 1-star. Reduce the number of spawned ramps. This one I tried, and I don't know how hard it was before, but yeah, I had to try this like a couple times just to see how the quest works. And on my second try, I actually did it. The first try I failed, unfortunately, but it was because I didn't know what I was doing. But now I think it's pretty fine quest. You can do it. It's not that bad, but definitely might take a little bit of practice before you get there. But yeah, I think this buff was kind of needed for that quest, because the starting resources were very low, to be honest. So I think this makes a lot more sense, since in this quest you can only build towers. So the wood and stone makes sense that there is some extra. Okay, and bug fixes. Fix an issue where several quests from the Argos, aiding Socrates, and return to Tarsos quest packs were not correctly receiving the quest rotation system bonus. Okay. I think it was again one of those issues where, like, for example, if you had the Athens and then you had the Socrates there, which would not grant the additional rewards for his quest pack. That's what was the issue. Fixed an issue where the objectives for the quest Trouble at the Tigris did not complete as intended. I think this was mainly... I don't remember if this was solo as well. But someone had issue with that quest, I remember that. Fixed an issue where the quest Liberating Giza and all of its variants loaded the incorrect map. Okay, there was some issue with Giza. Probably. Don't ask me, did not see that. Fixed an issue where the quest line reward item Exquisitely Salted Boar Loins was tradable. Yes, I saw that. Since it's a quest reward, you should not be able to trade it, nor send it to your other civs. It's just locked to your specific civ where you get it. Fixed an issue where several objectives from the champion versions of City of Rome quest did not complete as intended. Okay, well, you release champion mode quests and those quests do not work as intended. Nice job, Kire. Yeah. Fixed an issue where the Egyptian civilization did not spawn with a priestess of Ra under certain spawn settings. Okay, that could have been an issue in some quests, since priestess of Ra, very strong unit, you should use it as much as you can. Fixed an issue where the repeatable and elite versions of the quest Invasion of Mona did not correctly grant rewards for the optional objective. Minor typo fixes. Okay, yeah. I guess that's all from this one. Yes, remember the links for these posts will always be in the description. So if you want to check them out for yourself, you can. Just go into the description. Okay, this one is March 23rd. Okay, and as you can see, not much here. UI updates updated the regional travel shortcut tooltip for Sparta to display information about the Spartan Forge. That's a nice quality of life improvement. Not really that huge, but can be nice. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue where items could stack with unopened chests. Where items could stack with unopened chests. I have no idea what this means. Fixed an issue where the train-only infantry and villages did not work as intended. That's an issue, sure. Fixed an issue where the repeatable and elite variants of several quests from the Conquest of Britannia quest pack did not spawn the correct treasure guardians. I saw this one, it was spawning like from the legendary quests and not like the normal camps like the Hippicans, Bowmen and such. I think that was it, yeah. Fixed an issue in the Londinium Falling quest, all variants, where one of the enemy bases did not properly count as part of the enemy's defeated objective. I think I was talking about this in the quest. Basically, all you need to do was like defeat the left AI, and then the northern AI, you did not really have to worry about it. You would just defeat the left AI and you would be done with the quest. So that was it. So now you shouldn't have to defeat all the AIs. I think I did that in my video, so you can definitely check that out. Fixed an issue in the repeatable version of the Set Upon Mazandaran quest where one of the optional objectives did not complete as intended. Now, this one I remember, this is the one from Tarsos, one of those newer repeatables. And in this one, you could not complete the quest where you do not build walls. I think that was the one. Every time you would complete the quest, the build no wall would just fail. I think that's what it was. I saw just some screenshots of that. Other updates. Items can now be directly put in the Gear Dismantler and Spartan Forge by right-clicking them from the inventory. That's a good thing, okay? It's a nice thing. You don't have to drag and drop them into the Dismantler or Forge. So definitely good quality of life improvement. material auto-stacking now works for all possible situations, training, vault, etc. I think I was talking about this before and it actually did not go through, and the change was actually not in the change list afterwards. So after this, it should have been working properly. I think this was the final fix, was it? I think this was the final fix where everything should have been working right now. Although I don't remember if there was like, I think there was like once more. Nah, I don't know. I think this was like the finale of this, like everything should now auto-stack properly. Added French translations for the Conquest of Britannia quest pack and several other improvements across all languages. Good things. Okay, again, link in the description below. And now we are getting for the today's changes. April the 1st. And no, this is not April Fool's joke. No joke this year, unfortunately. So no conspiracy theories at all this year. Okay, so Sparta PvP updates, basically some maps removed, some added. So now there's the list. Champion mode changes, Greeks, priests are cheaper, temples are cheaper, Persian spearman champion has splash damage. Resistance, movement speed, bonus increased, cost increased, Romans, pontifex. I never noticed like Roman pontifex being so cheap in champion mode, like oh my god. Even 60 gold, that's like so cheap. Templum cost reduced. Babylonian Spearman Champion also grants splash damage resistance, cost increased to 250. Yeah, so that's champion mode quest. Some nice interesting ones. Then also Norse Longhouse costs reduced to 90 wood from 100. Again, champion mode, I just got ahead of myself. But yeah, some nice changes definitely could make it a little bit interesting, but I don't really care too much about champion mode right now. But yeah, some nice changes. Okay, UI updates. Fix several inconsistencies between the displayed amount of the quest rotation system's regional bonuses and the actual reward handed out by the server. Yes, there was some issue again with the rewards not being correct again. And I think this was like after the quest rotations were released. Now the thing was like, hey, you see these numbers, but you're getting some different numbers again. So that should have been fixed, okay? So keep an eye out for those. I'm not really looking at those right now. Don't have time to like keep checking everything. Okay, other updates. The third set of legendary gear craftables are now available. Dedicated blog coming soon. It's already out, so I'll be going through that as well. That's the biggest change and definitely the most important one of today's changes. Added epic versions of several scout special items that cover the level ranges of 28 to 40. Yes, this is again very big and it's also part of the block. So yeah, these two changes definitely the biggest ones, definitely the most important to mention. And now we're going to the block, and yes, I'll put the link to the block as well into the description so you can check it out for yourself. So yeah, developer update. Even though it's on the April the 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke. These things are actually real. Remember that. It's not a joke. So yeah, hello there Celeste players, blah blah blah. Here we go. Legendary craftable gear set free. So we got a lot of items, and you can see we have 2, 5, 8, 11 items in total. Now the most important thing to notice is these are actually costing the legendary materials that we have been gathering for some amount of time now, but yes, you can finally utilize those materials and craft yourself some good items. And I'll be honest, these items, I already took a look at those and they are very strong. I would put them on the same level as Bahram items. Very strong, but at the same time quite pricey because you need a lot of those legendary materials. So yeah, if you've been gathering for a while, you might have some good amount, you might be able to get few of those, but you need to get those recipes. And since this is day one, most likely there won't be that many recipes out right now. So yeah, might take a while to get all those recipes. Now let's get to the items. So starting first, we have from the archery school, we have Anubis' Underworld Sling. Damage plus 72.3%, maximum range plus 41.3%. And remember, these are the average values. Since these are craftable items, these stats can go even higher above that. But yeah, back to the sling. So this sling, I would say it's an overkill, to be honest. That's what I feel like. Because in my opinion, slingers, sure, they can appreciate the range. But at the same time, I feel like there's like some kind of attempt to make them like those super long ranged units, like for example Gastraferes. That someone is trying to put them on this level. But in my opinion, slingers are like those early game units that you utilize to counter the ranged units that are like super annoying. For example, the Egyptian chariot archers. I seriously hate those units. And in my opinion are the greatest threat to my army always. But yeah, this link can definitely help you with that, and you can see that's a lot of range with a very good amount of damage as well. If you ask me, who would I want to put this on? Obviously, all the slingers are a great option. This slinger is definitely, I would say, stronger alternative to the precision sling. So it's definitely a great sling, and I would say this might be the best sling in general because it has the general damage, unlike the precision sling that has the bonus versus ranged units. So definitely you will have better damage against infantry, cavalry, and then you also have this huge range, and no other sling offers you like 40%. There might be maybe some weaker sling. I think there might be some weaker, but it has like 40% maximum range, but like 35% damage, something like that. I think it might exist like in its rare what's the word? Variant, yes. But yeah, it's definitely, I would put this at the top of the generally the best slings, and definitely you can put it anywhere. And in my opinion, this item might be one of those reasons why I feel like in this case, in these changes, the Celtic Slinger might be one of the winners of these added items. And you will soon see why. Why? Because there's another one for the Celtic Slingers. And I need to mention also that the Slingers also got the buffed few months back, where they actually got their maximum range, the basic one, raised to 20. So every single slinger starts with 20 maximum range. So adding this sling already puts them at 28, which when you start, that's a pretty good range, to be honest. And you don't have the archery range final upgrade to get extra 20%. And we are not including Guyana, okay? So it's already very huge range. And some slingers might even get upgrade, although I think that's only the Roman one, which does not get the maximum range from the archery range tech, so I guess that's fine. But yeah, really huge range for the start, and we are not including advisors or anything else. So yeah, definitely great sling if you ask me. Go ahead if you want to grab it. I think it's too strong in my book, so I don't really want to go for it, but yes, definitely you can go with this sling. And another item is from Cavalry School. It's Kartikeya's Divine Javelin. Damage 19.8%, health 56.2%. So if you ask me, this is another of those sort of Tiberius situations where we have like this weapon that has like huge amount of stats. Now, unlike Tiberius, this one is more focused on the health while giving like small boost to the damage, even though it's still a lot of stats. Like, just put it together and it's like 76% worth of stats. And it's just adding. I'm not multiplying it. Oh my god. That would be even more. Like For javelins, swords, that's huge because usually you have like shields put together with those units. I think right now every single unit using the javelin has the shield. So yeah, it's a lot of stats, and then you add the shield. Yeah, it's very strong, if you ask me. But yeah, back to this item. Where would I want to put this? Most of the javelin users are the anti-ranged units, and those already have some good range. And most of them get some extra range from the archery range tags. Then they might have some extra, for example, Takabaras get from the War Academy tag, so they get a really huge range by themselves. Someone might even have advisors, for example, the War Chariots. So you might not really need this, and I would say it's better to prefer damage plus maximum range on those units. However, I think War Chariots could be an interesting option here, since War Chariots have very good health to begin with, and with their pierce armor being huge right now, I think the health can be very nice. Plus, if you have Sargon advisor, you can have huge... You just have huge damage thanks to the splash. So I think for War Chariots, this can be an interesting option. And before the changes to the anti-ranged units, I would say even the old Peltast could use this, because like Peltast had very short range, so having this huge health buff for them could have been very nice, to be honest. They could become like new meat shield for your other ranged units. For example, you could actually put together Peltast and the Toxotai with Alexander. It would have been interesting, but now because they have the long range, it's not really gonna work that way. So it could be interesting because they still have huge health thanks to their champion upgrade, so adding some extra could be nice. But right now, I don't really think so that it would work that well. They have the huge range. I think it would be better just, again, put damage and range on them. But the one unit I could definitely see this using would be the Roman Centurion, because if you take a look at the Centurion's stats, like the health is nice, but overall, if you just keep the Centurions alone with no other units around, they will die quite fast in Legendary Quest. But if you add like Clinicus, it definitely helps. But at the same time, they have, I think, like some non-super high HP build, but like some okay HP build, you can get like, I think 1300, it was like 1200 to 1300 health on them. So that's why I feel like having this is like a good alternative to the Javelin of the Sky. And Centurions also don't need like too much extra damage. They already destroy everything with just 200 DPS anyway. So I think this can be a really good item for Centurions. I think it can be interesting for War Chariots. Otherwise, I don't really know what you wanna do with this javelin. Maybe Carpentoms. Carpentoms could be also interesting. They also have somewhat low health. I guess Carpentoms could be interesting. I forgot about those. Those could be interesting. Maybe those. So yeah, if you want this, we want to try this, I give you some suggestions. Maybe I'll try it on Carpentoms. That could be interesting. I might like that. Okay, moving on. Now we have from Construction School, we have two new items. Agnes Firepot, damage plus 82.9%, maximum range plus 75.8%. When I saw this, I was like, oh my god, why? Why? Fireships. In my opinion, they are one of the best naval units you can get for naval battles. They do a lot of damage. Their bonus damage protection helps them a lot to survive enemy fireships, for example. They're fast, they're cheap, so they are already really strong. And until now, I would say the Firepot of Hatshepsut would be the best choice you would have for your fire ships, since it would offer you the best damage output. With this Firepot, I just have to ask who thought of adding this? Now, luckily fire ships don't have the biggest range, but still, it's like they start at 10, now they are getting 17.5 or like closer to 18 range. That's a very good range if you ask me. That's a good range. Now, the thing is, because I always suggested the Hatshepsut because it would be the best damage output, but with this actually opens up the possibility of multiple fire ships attacking from the distance, because you have to realize you have like, when you have the fire ship, the range is quite slow, and now you add like 75% and suddenly it's going in all directions. Okay, now imagine instead that there's the target at the center, because the circle was like this, now it's like this. You can see the area is much greater and you can fit in more fire ships to attack. So this could, I would say, not even double, but even more, improve the damage output even more, because you have a lot more fire ships attacking at the same time. That's what I feel like. I don't really want this Firepot, but yes, I feel like this Firepot is now gonna be the #1 choice for your fire ships, no matter what. So yes, if you wanna get this, definitely go grab it. It's definitely gonna be the greatest Firepot you can get for your fire ships. And the only other unit that comes to my mind that can use this would be the fire monkeys, but because I don't know anything about fire monkeys yet, I cannot tell you anything. So yes, fire ships definitely are a great choice for this. And I just don't get it. Why do we need to like buff fire ships even more like this? They are already one of the best units, and this is why I hate this, because it's just making super strong unit even stronger. I just don't know why. Alright, and then we got the Walls of Vishwakarma. Health plus 22.5%, very low, but train research rate plus 9.9%. So it's a very low health, so it's, I would say, if the enemy actually starts attacking something like your TC, that low health is not gonna help you that much. But because I would say this is actually a great item for your TCs. Train rate is, this is very unique because this is the only wall that's actually offering this. But yes, for something like TC, I would suggest this because you have limited number of TCs and you start with just one, okay? So you have limited production of villagers. Having some extra train research rate is just huge for your villagers, for your villager production. Because more villagers means more resources for you. More resources, hey, more buildings, more units. And more villagers, so more resources. It's very strong if you ask me. And the numbers are like, just like with the manual, I think that it's about the same value there. I think manual is only like 0.2% higher. So you can tell it's already very strong. And the way I would say it, imagine this as if you put this on TC, the villager train time is going down by another 10%. About 10%, okay, it's not exactly. But I was already talking about how to calculate these stats, come on. If you watched it and you understand it, then you know how to calculate it. But yes, it's about 10% less training time for your villagers. Another, after all of those previous applications. I think this could actually put villagers under 10 seconds or closer to 10 seconds if you haven't already had it there. So yeah, I think this is a very strong item for your TCs. Where else could I see this? I think the Egyptian Temple of Ra is a good option because priestesses have very long production time, or train time, I should say. They start at 30 seconds, so another 3 seconds down is very nice. And if you can get few extra early, fast enough, yeah, it's definitely a huge buff for your Egyptians. So I could see it there. maybe certain production buildings. I could definitely see this on siege workshops, since siege usually takes quite a while to produce and you don't really need that many siege workshops. Usually I'm fine with like 2 siege workshops, so like having only 2, and yes, like Walls of the Architect will not really save me that many resources from that. And since it's late game, it's not gonna be that huge anyway. So I think it could be a good option for your siege workshops. It can be great on your Egyptian fortresses, because elephants take quite a while to produce. So definitely great choice for your Egyptian fortresses as well. Other than that, yeah, basically you could put this on any military production. You could put this also on markets as well for faster caravan production, which could be interesting. And I know a lot of people go with, what's his name? Nanos? I think it's Nanos. For the market advisor. So you have like so cheap markets. So I think if you use this wall instead of like architect, and you use Nanos, yes, you will have faster production for your caravans. That's pretty good. Yes, you have so many options. So if you want this, you definitely have some good options with this item. I don't know if there's anything else. So yes, if you want this, go grab it. It's definitely good. I think if I would be skeptical somewhere, it would be like barracks, because barracks units get the tax from the barracks for faster production, so you don't really need it there that much. But for stables, could be an interesting choice. Siege workshops definitely come to my mind. So you have options. Definitely, it's up to you whether you want to use this or not. Okay, and then I've noticed this. I don't know if this was updated yet or not, but you might see it if you take a look at it yourself. This icon is wrong. This is not craftsman, but whatever. From the craftsman school, we have the merchant log of Psychosaurus. Movement speed 5.3%, training time minus 20.4%, cost minus 14.8%. Now, I don't remember if I was talking about this, about the caravans, but I think I was mentioning it with it's the wine one, the wine item, not Nebuchadnezzar, the other wine, I forgot the name. How like I feel like the training time works and cost would be similar. So if I had to put this on caravans, sure, the movement speed helps, but like the training time and cost, they are definitely great things, but they are more like for your faster production of caravans. So you like get your caravan number as soon as possible. That's how I describe it. After that, this is not really gonna help you. It will give you some boost to that, but after that, it's not really gonna do you anything. Whereas if you go with the trade and movement speed with the merchant log of the Nile, then you definitely you will have slower production, but in the long run, it will be much more effective for you. That's how I see it. So I don't really think it's an item for your caravans, although you can use it. I think it's better, however, to have the caravans more effective rather than just faster produced and cheaper at this point, because you can always go like Xeno or Dumnorix for these kinds of things. And Dumnorix is already offering you like lower cost and higher movement speed, which are already better than this. So I don't really think you want this for your caravans, but for merchant transports, this can be interesting options, because those are quite expensive, because you need a lot of wood for those transports. So the cost is definitely nice there. Training time, definitely another nice thing, and the movement speed is always useful since you can use them to transport units as well. So faster transportation can be definitely nice. However, again, if you're using those merchant transports for transporting, for trading, it in short run, sure, it's better, but in the long run, it's gonna be better to go with like merchant log of the Nile for the trade value. So definitely an option for the merchant transports if you are not using them for trading. That's how I see it. It's an okay item if you ask me. So if you want it, yes, you can grab it. Okay, moving on. We have from the religion school, Prayer Beads of Mehrab. Training time minus 9.7%, cost minus 19.8%. Now, this one I am a little bit... I don't really know where I would really want this item. Sure, you could put this on any priest if you want to, but I feel like Zahak's idol is a lot better item in most cases. And so I'm gonna say this one item I could see on the Priestess of Ra again. Sure, you could put this on druids, but I guess druids could be nice, but because they have short range healing range, the enemy ranged units might just focus them, and then you might not be able to keep them alive. Sure, the lower cost might help you to replace them, but still, you would rather keep them alive than just wait for another druid to arrive, in my opinion. So I think the Priestess of Ra is the best option here, but I wouldn't say you are gonna use them for like the combat healing mainly, but rather for the empowerment ability. And so like the cost is already really nice because priestesses cost 100 gold, and like 100 gold right after you've reached the Bronze Age, that can be a lot of resources early, okay? So the discount here is definitely nice, and this is where I would say yes, it's gonna be even better than the Zahak's idol. And the training time, again, their base train time is 30 seconds, so going down by 3 seconds. And now you imagine you combine this with the walls here, you are already at like 24-25 seconds of production time. It definitely helps if you want to get those priestesses out as soon as possible. And if you are using Amunet, which I do not recommend, don't use that advisor, she's stupidly strong. But yes, if you combine it with that, you can just get the one priestess out and then use her to empower the temple, and so you are producing those priestesses even faster. It is another possibility. And then you just send them to empower the storehouses, and suddenly, hey, you're rich. And of course, yeah, who cares after that? So yeah, if you ask me, I think for the Priestess of Ra, this item, I feel like that's the only option I would go with. So yeah, if you wanna, I think it's okay item. I can see this being fine item. I just don't like Amunet. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, and then another religion item, Ptah's Scepter of Construction. Empower drop off 94.2%, empower build rate plus 251.8%. Now, don't get this wrong. It looks huge, but it's not as huge as it looks. And I'm actually gonna use this for two corrections of what I said in my previous videos, and it was a mistake and I did not know it. I did not realize it at the time. So yes, forgive me for my misinformation, but it was not that far from truth. So two things. First, it's about additional units constructing the same structure. So you have like the first unit building at full speed, and then you have every extra unit will just add some fraction of that speed, or I should say of their speed. So what I said was that it was 1/3 of the construction speed. So if you had like one villager building, it would be at 100%. Then you would add second villager, it would be 133%. And then if you had like 4 villagers, it would be double the speed, so 200%. That's not actually correct. It's actually slightly less. It's not actually 1/3 of the construction speed. It's only 30%. It's slightly less, but the difference is so small that you will not really see it, to be honest. But yeah, it's a little correction. If you want to be more precise, yes, it makes a difference, but that difference is very small. You won't really notice that. Second thing, and that's gonna be about the empower buffs. So you know we have the empower drop-off, build rate, and train rate. Now what I said was that the value would be affecting only the bonus. So if you remember, the base value for the empower would be like, if you take a look at the unit stats, it would be like, if you take 10 divided by 9, then you will get the value you see there. So you would have like the base value, which would be always there because the units would be dropping off the 100%, and the bonus would be like the 1/9 value. Okay, that would be the extra bonus you are getting from that. And what I said was that this 1/9 is actually what's being affected here. Again, I was relatively close to that, but it's slightly worse. And I'll be honest, I would never be able to figure this out, and it doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. It would make sense to me the way I said it if the values were correct as they were supposed to be, but unfortunately, well, it's not that simple. It's actually slightly worse, as I said, because the way it works is you take this value, you divide it by 11, and then you take the total bonus and multiply by this. Now, as I said, it would make sense if there was different value. If you were dividing it by 10, it would make sense because, as I said, the total bonus is like 10 divided by 9. So if it was 1/10, it would be just taking the bonus value being improved. It would make sense. But dividing it by 11, it's just weird. I just don't know where he got the number. But yes, it's divided by 11. Again, it's not a huge difference, but yes, it's gonna make some slight difference. So as I said, you need to take these values, you need to divide it by 11, and then you will get the value. So in this case, it's relatively close to what the Pharaoh Scepter offers. So yeah, it's gonna be slightly better, but at the same time, the total bonus is like, you'll be generating like 20% more resources with this, maybe like 21%. Not a huge difference. So if you ask me, in comparison to the Pharaoh Scepter, it's not a huge deal. Plus, you don't get the healing, so yes, you cannot use the priestesses that well in combat healing. So the main thing here is definitely gonna be the empower build rate. Now this one, it looks nice at first, but I'll be honest, it's not that huge. As I said, you need to divide this by 11 and then multiply the bonus. And after I did this, I had to realize like how huge difference it is in construction. And if you are using this scepter, you are reducing the build time by 27% in total versus the previous 10%. So that means it's 17% difference in build time if you're using the Priestess of Ra. 17% difference. That's not that huge, to be honest. To be honest, I would prefer using the train rate, have extra villager, and then build with that extra villager the same structure, because that would reduce the build time, well, like 23% down. But then I also have more resources because I have more villagers. That's really nice. Or I could just take the villager and make it build another building, which would be extra 100% construction speed. That's the huge difference. That's why I don't like the build rate on my scepters, because I'm not really gonna use the priestess for faster construction. I'm gonna use more villagers. And for me to get more villagers, I need to produce them. So I would rather go with the train rate. So if you ask me, this item, I don't see it being that useful. And another thing, and I don't remember if this is working as I remember it, but when you are like shift commanding them, so like chaining the commands, when you are building the structures, and you are using the priestess with villagers, so you set the first building, all of the units will go there. But once you set once they will go after the second building, the priestess will stay at the first building. So that would mean you have to micro the priestess to actually fully utilize her. So I just don't find the build rate being that useful because the way this works in the game. So if you ask me, Scepter is nice, but it's not that useful. I'm just gonna say stick with the Scepter of the Pharaoh. It's much better Scepter than this. Okay, and then from the Siege School, or Engineering Schools, excuse me, we have Wheels of Hephaestus, health 51.2%. And I forgot to mention, there is subject to change note here, so I think these values are currently in the game. Maybe they got changed a little bit, but or they might change in a short amount of time. But okay. If you ask me, this is obviously going for battering rams. There is no other better option. If you ask me, if you're already using the Legion wheels from the Kartak store, then you already have those HP wheels there. So this one would be just the improvement for that. And I'll be honest, I was like, man, this value is actually huge, but then it's for battering rams, and battering rams got some nice updates that definitely should help them, like for example the lower cost, but they are still somewhat vulnerable. And even though I'm already going for like really good HP build, I just feel like they are still dying really fast, and I kind of dislike it because of that. Plus they are slow, and once they get there, they do like 2 hits and then they are dead. So it's like not really worth for me going battering rams anyway. Even though it's fun to use them, it's just not worth it. So I think for battering rams, it's definitely nice. But I still feel like it's not gonna be good enough for them. But yeah, it's definitely an improvement if you wanna use it. I kinda wanna use it on my battering rams, to be honest. So I definitely wanna get a few of these, even though I would rather appreciate if the value was slightly lower, like not like 16% above what the Legion wheel already offers, but more like, I don't know, like 43%, I think. But okay, it's just expensive, I get that, but still, that's what I feel like. But it's fine, I think this wheel is fine. But yeah, in Legendary Quest, it's hard to utilize those rams. They will just take too much damage from units and it's not nice. Probably could fix them with my villagers. That could be an interesting choice. But yeah, moving on, we have 3 more. So we have from the Infantry School, we have the Cuirass of Sesostris. Health 75.4%, which is like Gilgamesh or Rostam, same value. Then we have Crush Armor, 35.4%, and Splash Damage. I say resistance. I don't remember what's the correct wording in the game, but here it's armor, whatever. 40.4%. Now, when I saw this, I was like, man, this is too strong. I kind of wanted to see like medium armor with crush armor and medium armor with splash damage protection or resistance, whatever. But I did not want to see it all in one item. I wanted like 2 separate items because it feels too strong. And I can prove it to you. Just play Norse, go with Hard Jars, and use Howard. Because if I remember correctly, he's now offering Pierce Armor, Crush Armor, and Splash Damage Armor, whatever. And if you just use them now against, for example, Egyptian elephants, you'll see that they are surviving much more longer against enemy elephants. And then you can see like catapults do nothing. Imagine Clusium, like those onagers do nothing. Scorpios, they still hurt, but it's definitely much easier for you to survive. So if you ask me, this is very, very strong item. And definitely I can see me using it in some cases, but I seriously wish it was like split into 2 items, not put into 1 item. I just feel like this is gonna be huge. And remember, Crush Armor, it's gonna be like siege units, right? Scorpios, Onagers, Ballistas, Catapults. What else is there? Lock Throwers, for example. All of these units will just have the damage reduced just from the Crush Armor. And then you have to remember also Splash. These units I mentioned, they also have splash damage. So again, a lot less damage. Units like Celtic Champions, Norse Berserkers, War Elephants, Egyptian Axemen, right? All of these units, again, their damage will be reduced. This is covering like pretty good amount of units and like reduces or lowers the weakness of like having the big army of units grouped together, right? Because then if you don't use this and then there's like the catapult shot and you have all these units put together, it's gonna hurt, right? But then you use this, the splash damage is actually huge. It helps a lot. And you can see this with like hoplites. And I said the hard jars with Havard. Yeah, and hoplites with the Lycurgus advisor. Yeah, it definitely helps a lot in those bigger fights where there are units with splash damage. So if you ask me, definitely great item, definitely it has uses. Luckily there are not that many units with crush damage, but still, you find few. I think the biggest part of this is gonna be the splash damage resistance. This is definitely gonna help you in good amount of quests where you see a lot of units with splash. Could be Celtic Champions, so yes, against Celts, not even just the champions, remember, Volt Raiders are there as well. Maybe even Carpentoms, if you actually see them, but usually you don't see them that often. That's an option. Yeah, Norse Berserkers, Lock Throwers, those are there. Heroic units, like all those units you have to kill in quests, a lot of them have splash damage. So yes, the splash damage is gonna help you there as well. If you ask me, very good medium armor. If you want to get it, definitely go grab it. I might try a few of these somewhere. I mentioned the hard jars. Maybe I could just use this on hard jars and then use it with Havard and see what happens. It could be interesting. Moving on, then again from the infantry school. Minion Axe of Swiftness. Damage 76.4%, movement speed 12%. So if you ask me, it's a nice axe. Definitely you can use this. However, if I compare it to like all those previous items, I don't find it like that super strong, for example. I think movement speed is nice, but there are only few units I would consider this. So let's go through them. So Egyptian Axeman, it can be nice, but I think it's better to have the Ice King's axe for the extra health rather than extra movement speed. They already move fast. You can just go H3, the Sandal Maker for movement speed, and then you have Soulbag H4 for huge movement speed buff. So they are already moving fast. You don't really need it there. I saw like comments on Discord saying like Volt Raiders, and I'm like, Volt Raiders don't need extra movement speed. Volt Raiders just need to. They are already fast. They can just get there and obliterate everything. You don't need extra movement speed. They'll just get there and destroy everything. And if one dies, who cares? There's like 20 behind him. So if you ask me, Volt Raiders, they are an option, but I don't think it's that good option. And I don't remember how exactly the charge works with the movement speed. I don't think it works that well. I think it's like it should be working like added value, not multiplied. I think that's how it works. I don't remember. Might be worth testing this out, but yeah, I don't think you need this on Volt Raiders. Volt Raiders are already moving fast, come on. You don't need this, you just need to obliterate. Sure, damage helps, but like you see a lot of structures you need to destroy, and I think just the Zahax is much better option than this one. But yeah, moving on, then we are getting to the Norse. Now, Throwing Axeman could be interesting choice. since you could micro the throwing axeman as well, but at the same time I would say yeah, just go with the piercing frost and it's gonna be much better for that. Plus you can utilize it when you have a lot of throwing axemen, more axemen from attacking from distance, yes. So I think it's just better to go piercing frost there, but it is an option. I think where you might want to use this would be the berserkers and hard jars, because those two units have relatively slow base speed. So yeah, sure, berserkers also have the charge, but when you're moving the army, it's definitely slow army, whether it's hard jars or berserkers. So I can see this on those two units, although I still feel like they should prefer more defensive stats. It can be a good option. I guess on berserkers, I could see this on berserkers. Maybe I will try this on berserkers. Could be interesting. Yeah, I want to see those berserkers now. Could be interesting. Hard jars, I still feel like it would be better to go with defensive, but it is still an option. You could go with that. And then there's Chief, but Chief usually for me is like he's standing there and just shining with his aura. That's how I describe it. He's not really gonna move for me, but yeah, if he's fighting, sure, movement speed. If you lose him, yes, you can train him and he'll reach the battlefield sooner, but at the same time, why are you losing him? So I feel like for Chief, I don't see really the usage. So if you ask me, there are okay options, but at the same time, I feel like you don't really need this axe. I just feel like, I would rather see something else, to be honest, than this axe. But if you want it, hey, it's okay axe. I think it's fine to use it. And final item from the metalworking. Torque of Cernunnos. What a name. Critical hit chance 32.5%, maximum range 7%, and movement speed 39.5%. So for this item, it's gonna be easy. It's either Celtic Slinger or the Celtic Bowman. So both of these, I would say, very good choices for this item. So most likely, if you are using those units, then you are most likely using the Divine Torque for the highest critical hit chance. And that torque also offers some small amount of health, which usually is not that useful. It's nice, but it's not that great, to be honest. Since they are ranged units, they don't have that huge health, and usually we just want to make sure they attack but never get hit. So if you ask me, maximum range is definitely going to help you here. The critical chance will make sure that you still maintain that big damage boost. Sure, you are not getting like closer to 50%, but I would say even like 33%. That's a good critical hit chance, if you ask me. It's already great. So if you ask me, I think this might be a better choice for you. And then there's also the movement speed. Can you imagine the slingers moving with that high speed? They are already faster. Their champion upgrade gives them faster movement speed. Another 40%? Oof. They're running like a horse. Oh my god, that's a high speed. Like, I can imagine slingers. And also, as I said, if you use the sling put together with this, that's like 50% extra maximum range. And I took a look, and if I'm not mistaken, it should put the Celtic slingers on the 40 ranged units group. Huge, if you ask me. And remember, these are the average values. It can go a little bit higher, okay? So yeah, that's why I said Celtic Slingers might be one of those winners of these items. And yes, for Celtic Bowmans, again, it's an option. You don't really need that range that much, but the movement speed will definitely make them much more mobile. It's definitely gonna be useful, and so you can like micro them more properly. So if you ask me, it's definitely a great choice. Now it's up to you. Do you prefer the higher crit chance from the Divine Torque, or do you want this with the movement speed huge as this? Like, oh my god. If you ask me, I think this is now gonna be the better option, but again, it's gonna be expensive. So I think it's okay to use it if you want to, but at the same time, oof, that movement speed. Oof. Okay, there's a developer note. Our goal with this set of craftable gear is to introduce stat type combinations that we previously have not had before. I'm sorry, what? I mean, sure, like the items, but at the same time, I definitely saw a sling with damage and maximum range. And or increase current stat combinations on existing items to the point that they are viable for legendary quests. I mean, this is seriously gonna be viable. 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 This is okay. This is okay. This is shit. This is very nice. This is too good, if you ask me. This is okay. And this is okay. Although the movement speed is huge. So if you ask me, it's not that this is not viable, but it's not that viable, if you ask me. I would rather go with the Epic Scepter for maximum empower drop-off than this, to be honest. But still, Pharaoh is much better choice. Okay, they are available for legendary quests. Of course, we can only be so careful with our stat distributions, and we will be carefully monitoring the community's feedback regarding the item stats and will make adjustments based on that. This includes the crafting cost of the items, which is currently taking into consideration the fact that there is a large surplus of legendary materials circulating within the game economy. Of course, there's a huge surplus. There was no way to spend them. What do you want? So yeah, tell me what you think about these items, because I told you what I think about them. I think some of them are very strong, some of them are like okay to use. Some are like stupidly strong, if you ask me, but if you want to use them, it's up to you. I'm not really gonna rush for them. I might grab some of them. If you ask me, I might grab one of these just for the priestess, then I'll grab this for the battering rams. Can you imagine the Babylonian siege tower with extra health there? Ooh, those can get really huge health. And then I might try some of these Exostres Cuirass, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I just feel like it should be split into 2 items. One for crush armor, one for splash damage. Put it together, it's gonna be strong. That's my opinion. Axis, okay. I think torque, I will just reduce the movement speed. It's just oof. But okay, there's legendary materials roadmap. As you can see, we have the materials with the craftable gear. So soon there should be the legendary recipes for the materials. Those should be the next on the list. Then consumables and then some capital city decoration. But if you ask me, this is the main part. So after that, I don't really care that much. Okay, moving on. We have the new Epic Scout items. So we have this Swift Build Watch Post, Nike Horseshoes, Lens of Odin, Reinforced Noose Pole, and Osiris's Golden Bandages. So you know these items. Most likely you've seen like these 4 in their rare variants, and if you remember, scout items go like up to level 27, then there's big nothing, and then at level 40 you would have the Lance of Menace and the Scout's Protector. The only 2 items you would be able to get at level 40. No epic items, nothing. So these epic items are like filling this big hole between those rare and the legendary ones. So if you don't have the legendary ones yet, then you can definitely go grab these items. Now, we all know this. We already had the bandages, so health regen is there. It's just improvement to the rare one. This one, again, damage if you want scouts to do some damage. Line of sight, very useful stat. Movement speed, very useful stat. Like all these stats you could get with the rare variants. This one might be a little bit confusing because you might have never seen this. But this item actually has its rare variant, but it's available only to Greeks as a quest reward, if I remember correctly. So you might remember this, but like some long time ago, if you have been playing for a while, I don't even remember getting it, to be honest. It's been a long while since I leveled up my Greeks to level 40. But yeah, now you can get this at its epic variant. And I tried this. It's saying watch post construction speed. It's working on the Norse outpost. It's working there. Now I tried this on the melee scout to see if it has some effect. It does not, okay? Don't put this on the Norse melee scout. It's not really worth it. And to be honest, I don't really think you need this item at all. Like, I can understand for the Norse, for the outpost, you want to spam dogs. It makes sense. But like building the watch post, it takes only 10 seconds to build one. That's not that long, to be honest. That's not that huge amount of time. And it's only for your scout, and like scout usually, like, who cares, right? In quest, you don't really care about him spending some time here. You just use him here. Maybe you might want him in the fight, but usually you like when you're building those watch posts, you're just scouting with him. And then just randomly build a watch post. Like, you don't really have to rush it that much with the scout. That's what I feel like. I don't know why people wanted this item that much, to be honest. It's a nice option, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really care. And I don't even know why I should. And as you can see, we will have some legendary variants of these as well coming later. We already have the Lens of Menace, so legendary versions of these items, who knows when. But if you ask me, there's still the set sash from the summer event. Definitely grab that one because it's combining these three items together, like movement speed, line of sight, and health regen all in one. That's the best item you can get for scouts. And that's, in my opinion, gonna dominate no matter what. But yeah, if you want to read this, go read this. I'm not. Update on the Indian, and it says here, animations are almost finished. Next up, sounds music advisors. We are also a bit overdue with an update on the Indians, but we are now very excited to announce that nearly every animation for the Indian civilization is now finished. There are only a handful of them left to complete, and some final polish before they are 100% done. We are next turning our attention to the Indians' soundtrack, their voice lines, and their advisors' effects. Stay tuned for further updates on the Indians in the not so distant future. So definitely good news. Definitely, I think it was said that it should be planned to release them before summer event this year? I mean, this is already like good news, okay? Like animations, big stuff, right? Sounds, music, it depends. I would say it depends, but yes, I think animations are like the biggest part of this. So definitely great news. Maybe they'll manage before the summer event this year. I think that was the idea. Who knows? I don't remember if it was before or after. I think it was planned for before, but or maybe with the summer event. But who knows, okay? I don't really know where the current plan is. But yeah, some nice news here. So yeah, leave a comment below. What do you think about these new items? I definitely can appreciate those scout items. Definitely appreciate, since they're filling the hole between level 27 and 40. It's definitely good to see those items. And I like that. But yeah, those legendary items, what do you think about them? In my opinion, they are very strong, or at least some of them are like very strong, and they should be nerfed right away. But some of them are nice, and we will see how these work out once people will start getting them. And I don't really know the prices yet, okay? It just says this. I haven't seen a single one of those yet, so cannot tell the prices. Okay, and that's gonna be all from me for now. So yeah, like I said, leave a comment in the description below. Oh my god, I've been talking for so long. I hate this. Oh my god. it is what it is. So yeah, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this, please press the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, hopefully we'll see those items soon in action. And maybe I'll craft few just to test them out. We'll see. I definitely want some of them to try out. Maybe I'll try some of the other items as well, even though I say I don't want them. Yes, I don't want them. I just think they're gonna be straight up strong. This was Psychosaurus. I'll see you next time. Bye!